Okay, welcome, welcome. Oh, that's a thing I should probably do. Let's go ahead and turn off that camera so you don't get that weird recursion. Welcome, friends. Yes, it is Tuesday evening.
Hi.
That means it is Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be a lot of fun today. We've got one hell of a session here for you. But Psychanthrope, welcome. And in fact, let's go ahead and say hello to everybody. We got a lot of folks here today. We've got Abdul,
Hello.
great to see you. Glad that you're here. We've got Angry Potato. Potato, always a pleasure to have you here. We've got Gale, obviously. We've got DD Vampire Lady. We've got Lionar. We've got Distracket. Yes, got it. Making sure we got Psychanthrope. It's wow. We've got so many folks here. I'm so happy right now. Let's go ahead and do some quick introductions. My name is Professor Cunningham. I am your DM for this evening. I will be playing everybody that isn't these lovely folks. And speaking of these lovely folks, let's go ahead and do some introductions. Let's go ahead and do names, pronouns, he, him, by the way, and your character, and we'll move on from there. So let's go ahead and start with Jeff. Jeff, who are you? Who are you playing today?
Hello, my name is Jeff Holland. I pronounce he, him, and today I will be playing Calder Creed, our resident sorcerer and gentle and a Jenga tower of personal issues and trauma.
Yes, indeed. I love that you have different little miniature descriptions of his personality every time we get on. I absolutely love it. I think last time it was a pile of trauma in a trench coat.
Yeah, I spend at least an hour a week thinking of the next one.
Excellent. Gail, who are you? Who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Gail, also Olivia, pronouns she, her, and I am playing Echo, the goblin monk cleric. He, him is the character's pronouns. Here to punch things and maybe heal some stuff.
Punch and then heal, and then punch and then heal. Yes. Perfection.
Maybe in that order.
We also have two players missing just now. Jen is still recovering from a tonsillectomy, so she'll be out probably until next game. And M is currently working. The good news is M will actually be joining us right after this pregame session because we did a pre-record last night of about an hour of gameplay. So you will still get to see M playing Hyacinth, who is the very wealthy rogue who owns the home that our characters are currently staying at. So that'll be awesome. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about where we were and how we got to where we are now, because we definitely have some new folks who are not familiar with the story, and this is a 18-month almost old campaign at this point, so we should probably talk a little bit about how we got to where we are. So a couple of sessions ago, the group resurrected their fallen bard comrade Clarion, who was lost in a dungeon called the Forge of Fury, to a roper. Very horrible. It was a very rough moment, and it really sort of shaped the entire campaign. Clarion came back different. He is no longer quite alive, no longer quite dead. He's kind of sort of in between. There are indeed a lot of videos. We've been doing this for a long time. So yes, I think we hit something like we at some point hit like the 100-hour mark. So yeah, it's been a very long campaign. So nobody expects you to catch up right away. But last session specifically, I believe we were dealing with, actually, I don't remember quite the order of events. Gail, you keep notes. What was the first bit that we did last time?
So the first bit, like we did immediately after Clarion's resurrection, we did them coming out of the crypt. We did Clarion and Lore and Meepo going, escorting Clarion off to a room to rest, because resurrection, even if it does work correctly, like leaves the person exhausted at 1 HP, like you have status ailments for a while afterwards. So they let him off and were taking care of him. Calder had stormed off somewhere to deal with emotions, and Echo, Barnabas, and Hyacinth were having a lovely brunch, talking about things, catching Hyacinth up on like where they'd been, what happened in Waterdeep, where they got the Staff of Resurrection from. It was Xanathar. And then Charlotte and Calder shared coping techniques.
So really quick, because we're throwing a lot of proper nouns around.
Yes.
So Barnabas Boulder Shoulder is the king of a small citadel of dwarves who is currently at war with an orcish army coming down from the north. We'll talk more about that later. Meepo is a kobold that was met in the second or third session we ever ran, who has been running with folks. These are both NPCs. And I believe there was one other. Who else? Lore is one of M's other characters who they were playing during the Forge of Fury. So all of these characters have all kind of gotten together and were trying to decompress after the large trauma that was resurrecting a fallen friend. Let's talk a little bit about Calder and Charlotte's method of decompressing after the trauma, because last session was really awesome. I don't normally allow for PvP in my games because I've seen it ruin games before. I've seen people use it to people who use it to try to screw over other players. It creates bad feelings and stuff. But I trust these players so much that when they said, we want to do a quick wizards duel on stream, I was 100% on board. It was absolutely fantastic. Jeff, tell me a little bit about that. I seem to remember Charlotte handing him a staff and this is gonna be a staff fight, right? Like, you two are high power magic users. There was no way. It's like the X-Men playing basketball and saying, don't use mutant powers. It just doesn't work that way. Tell me a little bit about what happened.
Almost immediately spells began to fly. Calder got to show off the fact that he actually knows what he's doing with the sword. Super weird. And otherwise got to play against a surprisingly violent Charlotte. It was a real fun exchange of spells. Lightning was hurled, fireballs detonated, darkness spells dropped, fun uses of illusions and shadows. Summoned my shadow sword and actually hurt Charlotte for realsies.
Right, got through the Abjura's ward. That was, yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte is an abjuration wizard, which means she almost always has some kind of magical shield or ward around her to absorb blows. And Calder actually managed to get through it and do real damage to real hit points. That was really nice.
The first canon character to ever actually do real damage to her.
Yep. A feather he is not going to be taking out of his cap anytime soon. So it ended pleasantly under good terms when Calder realized that the only way he could actually progress to a win was by breaking a self-imposed handicap, so that to stop himself from what he felt would be an unfair victory.
Yeah. And they had a whole conversation during the fight about like what they're angry about, what they think happened with Clarion, and then at the end when the fight was given to Charlotte and they just sat down, they just started talking magic shop. Like, Calder's a sorcerer, Charlotte is a wizard and a warlock, and so we have laid the grounds for them, like, magic theory wise, trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with Clarion.
What I really loved about that fight is that it wasn't just throwing dice. There was a lot of really good like Wizards Duel level intelligent tactics happening, using illusion magic, using darkness. I thought it was really, really great.
Yep, it was a lot of fun. We don't. I had not been in a fight like that in D&D ever, I think. So that was a true blast. I enjoyed it immensely.
Now, before we move on to what was going on inside Hyacinth's home during this fight, I do want to give a shout out to Whizzical. Welcome, my friend. Very glad you're here. Thank you for the 3 months worth of subscription. Absolutely spectacular. Love to see you here. Lionar says that level 1 sucked in 3E and 3.5 and Pathfinder, and I agree. I personally am of the opinion that level 1 sucks in 5th as well, but I know that M specifically loves level 1. It's their favorite level in the game.
It sucks less in 5e.
It does suck less, and you're not going to get killed by a house cat like in 2nd edition where I first started playing. Lionar mentions doing PvP in a D&D game, in a public game. See, I try not to do public games because it's way too easy for someone who, like you said, can't read the room to come in and mess with everybody's fun. Absolutely. Yeah, that's
But like we said, we've been role-playing together for more than a year now in just this particular game. We talked about it beforehand. Like, we use a lot of safety tools here in our roleplay.
We do. And in fact, we have a few hand signals, like if they put up an X with their hands, I know to stop the scene immediately and check in. And, we try to do content warnings before anything particularly horrible. And we have a list of things that we don't mess with because of, lack of consent and that sort of thing. So while this wizard duel was happening, Hyacinth and Barnabas and Echo the Goblin were in like a breakfast nook kind of dining room area, eating breakfast and conversing about the fight that happened in the underground gladiatorial arena in the city of Waterdeep, which was absolutely spectacular. More VODs you should definitely check out. They're on YouTube. And also they were talking about the coming war. During the last module, an army of orcs was descending from the north toward the dungeon, and Barnabas, as I said, king of a contingent of dwarves, marched his army out to meet them, and we haven't resolved that yet because it takes weeks to get armies into position for the battle. So we talked about that a little bit and how the orcs are looking to take over a magical artifact called the Forge of Fury, which nobody really knows exactly what it does, but everybody wants to find out.
Yeah. And then brunch was interrupted when Sven showed up, an advisor to Barnabas who is, we found out, a wizard who doesn't understand what boundaries are, and he just walked right in because magic said he could.
Although it did expose a weakness of Hyacinth's home, which was that potentially maybe it's not super duper secure, right? Like there aren't any magical wards to keep anybody from just teleporting in if they know where to go.
Yeah, but so Sven showed up. There was a bit of talking about that. He helped identify one of the magic items that the party had found in Waterdeep. Echo fucked off. Calder and Charlotte came back in. Charlotte took Sven, the other wizard, and they went off and talked wizard shop. And then Calder and Hyacinth and Barnabas talked more about the war and like what they should be doing and what were we saying, like reaching out to Many Arrows?
Yes, reaching out to, so Many Arrows is a canonical orcish war chief who made an alliance with the other sapient races of Faerun so that they stop doing the kind of thing that's happening right now. So one of the things the player characters want to know is Many Arrows aware of this invasion, and does he approve of, or at least is he neutral towards this invasion? Nothing in the alliance says that he has to step in and defend other races.
Not at all made confusing by the fact that Many Arrows is also the name of the sun and the tribe and literally the family of the chieftains that rule.
It's the Vegeta of it's the Vegeta of Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
Yes, my son, my tribe, or me.
Marilyn Defoe, welcome. Glad you're here. Glad that you're lurking. See you when you get back. Make sure you mute the tab and not the stream, please. We do love those stats. So after Sven was, I believe, had a knife thrown at him by Hyacinth, and then revealed that you had a pretty high power spell book, and then ended up fucking off. Yeah. Or at least being escorted out by Charlotte was where we last left off.
Yeah.
I believe Echo was the next main character for the next little bit because he went and wandered off, or was there something in the meantime?
No, that was the main thing. Echo.
We gave a polite education to Sven about the nature of privacy.
Very polite, yes. Very firm.
Echo went off to go have a panic attack, but was interrupted when a mystical magical elf named Illustrial, maybe she's a big deal, Echo doesn't know, talked to him in his head in a mental mindscape and was like, I sensed your powerful magic. You should check out the Harpers. They're real cool. Here, take this token. By the way, anyone can scry on you. Peace. And then Echo...
Yeah, kind of a people can scry on you. You're becoming kind of a big deal. If I'm noticing you because you used legendary level magic within spitting distance of one of the most magical cities on the continent, other people are going to notice you as well, especially since you did kind of make yourselves a big deal in an underground tournament for a very powerful crime lord.
Yes. Echo then tried to take a nap, laid down in the room. Everybody else who was in the other room realized Echo had been gone for a bit, went about trying to find him. Calder found him first, woke him up, and got some very bad news.
Yes. So when Echo woke up, he realized that he was no longer attuned to the Staff of Resurrection, which they got from said crime lord and just kind of borrowed in order to resurrect Clarion. And now it's gone. Just straight up vanished out of a bag of holding, which is kind of a big deal.
Right? And that's where we left off.
Yes.
That was our cliffhanger.
In fact, if you came here from one of the several Discord servers that I posted to, you would have seen a picture of Echo saying the staff is missing, and that was the end of last session. So we pick up just a few minutes after the staff is discovered to be vanished, and we're going to go ahead and jump over to a pre-recorded segment that we recorded yesterday, because once again, one of our players is missing today, and we wanted to make sure they got to play their character for a little bit. We are still going to be in chat. Leo, thank you. Very glad you're here. The Good Vibes Only tells me you're probably coming in from Grant. Absolute legend. Thank you very much for being here. Much appreciated. We're going to go ahead and jump into the pre-recorded section, so we won't be verbally responding to your chats, but we will absolutely be in chat responding to your chat. So stick around, and we're going to continue live after this pre-recorded segment is over. Thank you for watching so far. See you in an hour. Yeah, this is going to be amazing.